Hi everyone, this is Treva. Wanted to come on and give you an update. I am currently 21 weeks and 4 days, and I'm feeling good. I'm sorry for my scarf, but after I get finished with this video, I am about to wash my hair. And actually, I wanted to talk about that because that's one of the things that I'm having right now. A lot of dandruff. That's one of my symptoms. I don't know if it's a symptom or because it's cold out or whatever, but I usually never have dandruff, and I have a lot of dry scalp and dandruff. And but my hair is also growing like really fast right now. So when I get off of here, I gotta wash my hair. But anyways, just want to let you ladies know everything that's been going on in the past week. Um, I had my doctor's appointment today with my perinatal, and everything went well with that. But first, I want to back up a little bit. Saturday, my husband and I got up early in the morning, and we were cleaning and like thoroughly cleaning, like up underneath the bed because our bed is really high, so I have all my boxes of shoes underneath there, and he has some things, but my granddaughter always likes to get into my shoes, and so they were all discombobulated, and we decided that we were going to clean from underneath the bed and move the mattress and the box springs and vacuum and everything because I can't move the bed. Our bed is really heavy. So, and it doesn't go anywhere because our room is small, so we just leave it in the same spot. So anyway, we took the mattress and the box springs off, and we cleaned underneath the bed, organized everything, vacuumed, all that kind of good stuff. I put up new curtains and everything in the bedroom, and just did a thorough cleaning. We were just in the mood to do that. Well, I think I overdid it because afterwards I had started feeling like my stomach was tightening. And here's my baby Armoni. This is my grandbaby. And I keep her. Her mom had moved to Florida for a little while, had moved back to Florida, where we are from, but she moved back. And, but she's been back here for a good 6 or 7 months. But we're so attached. I'm so attached. My husband and I are so attached to Armoni. So she still stays with us. But her mom does watch her while I'm at work. But anyway, say hi, Armoni. Hi. That's my baby. She's my baby. She's the one that really got us through the time when we didn't think that we were going to be able to do another IVF cycle prior to this one. And we thought we had lost all hope and everything, and we just wanted that feeling of having a baby or a little one in the household, and she was a gift from my daughter to us. We were helping her out, and she actually helped us out by having her here. It really pulled us through and got us through, those sad and depressed times that we were going through when we thought that we weren't going to be able to have a baby. So anyways, go sit back down and go watch cartoons, okay? Okay, so back on to what happened. So I started feeling my stomach tightening and everything, and one of the problems that I was having with my son, and the reason that he was a preterm baby was one thing that I really don't feel my contractions. I have really quick labors, and I've had both of my children completely natural, no medication, nothing but the IV just to keep me hydrated, but they didn't even have to do that long because I have really fast labors. And it's because I contract and I have contractions that are actually doing something, but I don't feel them. I guess they have a really high tolerance to pain, or like they say pain, but I don't feel any pain at all. But anyway, I noticed that my stomach was tightening up and getting rock hard, and then it would soften back up. And it kept doing that. It was a little sporadic, and it was doing it like every 10 minutes or every 15 minutes. Or say, for instance, if I bent over or I sat a certain way or laid a certain way, I would feel it. So therefore, I told my husband after we ate dinner, because we did wait for a while. We didn't go to the hospital until about 8 o'clock in the evening. because I wanted to make sure it wasn't me being dehydrated, so I drank a lot of water, and I just chilled out and laid down, and it was still doing it and everything. So told my husband I think we need to go to the hospital. I'm just feeling these tightening of my stomach, and I think it's contractions, and just wanted to better be safe and just go to the emergency. And so that's what we did. We went to the emergency. They immediately took us up to labor and delivery. But the triage unit, where there's like about 6 beds in one room and you just have the curtains. But anyways, they hooked me up to a monitor, and they noticed that I was having mild contractions, and they were coming like, at that time it was one every 10 minutes. I was having them. So they gave me a pill called Vistarol, which is actually like a mild sedative, but it also helps to calm the uterus. So they had given me that. They hooked me up to an IV of saline water, and just to make sure that I was hydrated, which I am. I have a 34-ounce cup that I keep beside my bed, and then I have a 34-ounce jug of water that I keep refilling at work, and I drink 2 of those at work, and then I'll drink the cup here when I get home in the evening. I'll drink 1 of those cups, plus I'll keep it by the bed all night, so just in case I get thirsty throughout the night or something, I'll have my water right beside the bed. So I know I am very hydrated. I drink a lot of water, so I knew that couldn't be the issue. Plus, when they did my urine analysis, my urine was almost clear. So, I'm very hydrated. I really just, the doctors then said that they really just think that I pushed it a little bit too far. I just overdid it with trying to clean and everything. So they kept me at the hospital from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. just for observation, to make sure that the medication that they had given me had stopped the contractions, and it did. So I was released, like I said, at 6 o'clock. But while I was in there, they had an ultrasound tech to come to the room, and she did translibia ultrasound. Never had this done before. It's done with the regular ultrasound that they do the abdominal ultrasound with, but she put a glove on top of it with some gel, and she pressed it right up against my labia, and just was measuring my cervix, because I have the cerclage, and they wanted to make sure that the contractions wasn't causing me to have anything, changes in the cervix. Also, too, they said if I was contracting, they didn't want to do a transvaginal with the violator because it could cause me to contract even more. So they did the labial, whatever, and it was uncomfortable because she pressed and pressed and pressed and moved around, and it was a little uncomfortable. I would have rather had the violator or the abdominal one. That one was a little, uncomfortable. But anyways, they let me go home, and they just told me to activity as tolerated. Don't lift anything over 10 pounds. Not a lot of stretching, pulling, bending, lifting, all of that kind of stuff. And don't overdo it. So, today I went to my doctor's appointment, and I had already had it scheduled for an ultrasound today, and my doctor had told me when I had called them on Monday to go ahead and go to my ultrasound and everything, because my ultrasound was before my doctor's appointment. But anyways, I went on ahead and went to the doctor's appointment, to the ultrasound, and the ultrasound tech said, you just had an ultrasound on the 21st, so we can't do another one. So anyways, I went up to my doctor's appointment, and they said, well, being that you just had the cervical check, and this ultrasound that we were going to have today was for a cervical check, never mind, you don't have to do it. But I am scheduled for one in 2 weeks. And actually in 2 weeks, what they're going to do is check my cervix, of course, and also do another anatomy scan. They want to see how big this baby is. just in case I go into labor early or anything like that. They want to see where we're at with his size and everything. And also, too, my belly measured at 23 centimeters today. So it's actually measuring, I'm only 21 in 4 days. So I'm actually measuring ahead still. And when the doctor was pressing around on my stomach, he was like, that's baby. It's not like it's just, my uterus being big or anything like that. When he was feeling, he was like, that's the baby. He could feel that it was the baby. So he wants to see how big he is and check his measurements and all that kind of good stuff. So I can't wait for that. The other thing that is going on, they did give me a card. My doctor's office did. And it's a card that came from the March of Dimes. And it actually is signs of preterm labor. And I wanted to let you ladies know this, what some of the signs of a preterm labor is, because I have noticed that in our community we've been having a few ladies that have gone into labor or early or have some changes in their cervix and different things of that nature. And if you're a first-time mom, you may not know exactly what are some of the signs of preterm labor. It does not necessarily mean that it's going to be contractions that you feel that's like really strong and hurting. It could be mild things. Just like with me, my stomach was just tightening and stuff, and I didn't have any pain. But anyways, I want to let you know what some of the symptoms are. The first one is contractions. Your abdomen tightens like a fist every 10 minutes or more. Changes in vaginal discharge, leaking fluid or bleeding from the vagina. Pelvic pressure, the feeling that your baby is pushing down. Low, dull backache, and and the doctor explained to me that's a backache that just remains and sometimes becomes even more intense. You may not be having abdominal pain, but you could be having pain in your back, which is actually contractions. Cramps that are like your period. Abdominal cramps with or without diarrhea. And that's one that I never knew one of the signs could be diarrhea. But it is. But all of these things are some of the signs of preterm labor. And one of the things you should do if you have any of these symptoms, you need to go and call your doctor or go immediately to the ER. I know a lot of people don't like to take time out to go to the ER. They may have a higher copay or something that goes, because it's $250 copay every time that I go through to the emergency. But I'd rather be safe than sorry later. So that's just some of the things to think about if you're having any of those symptoms. To call your doctor, call your on-call nurse or whomever is at your office prior to going, or if it gets too bad, just go ahead and go to the ER. But that's basically all that's going on. Baby's heart is really strong. It's still 154. He's moving around a lot. I really feel him in the lower part of my stomach more than upward. Like in the middle of the night, if I wake up, I can feel him up a little bit higher. But most of the time during the day and everything, when I feel him, he's down kind of low when I feel in his kicks and things of that nature. That's about all that I have right now, but I will give you guys a belly shot. So let's see here. There we go. That is my belly.
The baby on your belly?
Yeah, the baby in my belly.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Mom.
So, I guess a couple of things that I can say that I'm having as symptoms is I'm starting to have more of the round ligament pain. Having a lot of the stretching and stuff mostly on my right side, with my uterus stretching and everything. And I know that is definitely my uterus growing, because the last time that I went to the doctor a couple weeks ago, my uterus was, when they measured my belly, it was 20, and now it's a 23. So I know, you know, in a couple of weeks it did grow 3 centimeters. So that's probably why I'm feeling all these different pains and different things of that nature. But other than that, there's nothing else going on. I feel really good, and I just want to let you ladies know that I'm praying for you all, and I thank everyone for their comments, and thanks to all my new subbies, and I sub back to you. If I see that you're making videos and the things that you're watching is based on TTCing and IVF or, you know, things of that nature, I do sub back to you, and I do watch your videos if you do have videos up. So if anyone has any questions or anything, feel free to always let me know. I'm going to come back in, because this video is kind of long, I'm going to come back and do a shout out video later. And also I have some really nice baby buys that I got. Yes, I'm telling y'all, every time I go to the store, yeah, baby buys. So I want to show you some of the things that I got. Now, maybe not all of the things, but some of the things. So love you guys. Smooches.